Hey guys, any good will it run video has three components it's going to need: fuel, spark, and compression. Nothing I can do about compression right now, but let's take a look at fuel and spark and set ourselves up for the best chance to make this engine run. Thanks for watching. eBay has been useful. What we have here is a Stromberg AVU VB, I think it is. This doesn't show the U on it, but I think this kit will work. But we've got the correct carburetor for the Buick engine. This is the assembly over here that runs the throttle pedal start for firing the starter. Rock Auto came through with cap rotor and a few other miscellaneous ignition parts. And then this is from eBay again. This is actually the advance plate assembly that goes in the distributor. The advance plate, or the original advance plate, is still there, but the points condenser and of course the mounting screws are missing. As you can see, this is designed to move as the vacuum advance pulls on this stud. For the most part, don't need to do anything there. That just needs to be installed in the engine when we get to that point. But this thing is going to need a rebuild. Let me set the ignition parts off to the side and we'll start tearing down a carburetor. Here's the carburetor kit. It's somebody's repackaged this in a Ziploc bag. Hopefully it's complete. I think I paid like 25 bucks for this, whereas the newer version, modern version, would have been in the $50 range. What the heck, this is just an experiment to see if we can get this car to run. There's not really much point in dropping huge amounts of money into it unless it's going to be a viable vehicle for us. So this is a two-barrel Stromberg carburetor. As I said, the AUVB or AAUVB 267, I think it is. Somewhere on there's all sorts of fine little writing that tells us what we've got. What we're going to do here is we'll take the top off, we'll take the float bowl off. We've got to separate out the this base. This base is again cast iron, and like we had with the Ford, we've got seized throttle blades or seized throttle shaft. Hopefully we can get that apart without doing any damage to anything and turn this into a usable carb once more. I did go through and crack most of these screws loose, so the disassembly should go pretty smooth. Man, that lighting is not the best. This is the lever up to the accelerator pump, and it's just kind of a ball and socket. We lift up on it and pull it off. And the accelerator pump moves. That's a good sign. Something tells me the bellows is probably shot. But there is one in the kit. So. I'm going to guess that this is to hold the starter wire. This assembly over here is the automated choke. And if you recall, the carburetor that we put on the engine just to kind of block the manifold, it had a manual choke on it rather than this one's automatic. So this is one of the two carburetors that would have been available on the 50 Buick. The other one is a Carter WCB carburetor, which is the same basic idea. The start mechanism looked a little different, but you know, works essentially the same, and also it had an automated choke as well. There we are. Something's hanging up here at the back. I think we need to get our gasket to go with the top. And half of it is, and half of it's staying with the base. Let me grab a utility knife. We'll see if we can scrape that off of there. I've got replacement gaskets, provided this kit is the exact same. Sure looks close, but the not a bad idea to try and save the old stuff if we can. Comparing that gasket to that one, I'd say we've got a winner. Perfect. The floats don't look like they're in bad shape. Some kind of animal cocoon. That's going to take a little bit of tappy tap to get it out of there. And that accelerator pump certainly is crispy, but it's not torn or anything. I'm wondering if we were to soak it in something like WD-40 or something like that, if it would swell up a little bit and be able to function as a spare. Bit of crud in the bottom of the float bowl, but most of that doesn't look too terrible. Well, let's see if we can get the next layer off. Now, before we try and take the bowl assembly off of the base, I have a sneaking suspicion. Well, actually, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It looks like that goes up into the bowl assembly, so it's not... I was worried those were going to be in the base and go up into the carburetor. There's some older carburetors that I've seen. I think there might have been it's a Marvel carburetor, or maybe it was a Zenith or something, that you had to take the jets out before you could try separating the carb, because it was the jet kind of was one of the bolts that held everything together. Okay, now if we can repeat the same thing, kind of get the gasket to stay with one side. I don't know how successful we were there. Okay, we've still got something holding the two sides together. What have we got? Not entirely sure what those are doing. They appear to be bent identically though, so it's a good indication we didn't damage them any. Not reusable, but we could use it as a template if we had to. But I think there's one in the box there, so we're good. A little bit of rust and corrosion down there, but I'm sure we can get that cleaned up once we get everything apart. I'll try and take this off. Now this we need to be careful of not to disturb. Not because we need to save it, but because I think it's asbestos. Yeah, we'll have to give that some soaking. But again, we'll get this some heat and some soaking, and it'll probably be okay. So we've got a hole there that puts vacuum out. Appears to come to this, possibly. Yeah, I would say that passage goes to this, which comes over here, goes up to the top, and up to the top. I'm going to guess that that is what we would call ported vacuum. It's above the throttle plates, not manifold vacuum. And the idea being there that when there's vacuum being pulled on this port, it interrupts this mechanism here that engages the starter plunger. So once the engine's running, you can open and close this to your heart's content, and it doesn't engage the starter. I'm not sure why Buick used this setup, but they used it for a number of years, so must have worked. Seems like some kind of power valve or something. Not entirely sure what. It gets pushed on by this piece here, which I'm not sure if we're seized, if it's supposed to move. It's got a spring on it. That would suggest that it's supposed to move. Oh well, we'll figure that out. This is the squirter for the accelerator pump, I think. And it will need a good cleaning. I'm guessing that somewhere in here there's probably a couple of check balls that we're going to need to free up if we want to have a functional accelerator pump. I can see that there's I don't know how well it shows up for you guys, and I don't know if this is going to make a mess or not. Makes it nice bright so I can see it, but I don't know about you. But down in there it almost looks like a helicoil spring, and looks like there's a metal ball down there. Because usually an accelerator pump is going to have some kind of check ball assembly on it, so that it can pump in one direction, suck in the other. A couple more screws to take out. And in case it's not super obvious, I've never had one of these carburetors apart before, so we're kind of learning this together. That one doesn't want to come out. That's fine. We'll get it. There's our... Ooh, we got two balls. One little one and one big one. The little one goes in the bottom, the big one's on the top. And there's definitely some grunge down there that we're going to have to deal with. I'm guessing these are the main jet covers. And they appear to tie up to these main venturis. And I'm guessing we're supposed to have some kind of special tool that goes in there and grabs on those flats and allows us to unscrew those. For the choke, we are missing one of the hold downs. Kind of hoping maybe there's one. It doesn't look like there's one in the rebuild kit here. Some rebuild kits come with new hold downs for the choke. This does not appear to be one of them. But I've got some partial Rochester Quadrajet kits around. Maybe we'll be lucky enough that one of those choke hold down for a Quadrajet might work on this, although Rochester versus Stromberg, who knows. So in here we've got a bimetallic spring, and as air comes up off of the exhaust manifold into this port, this spring will either tighten or loosen, and as it does so, it opens or closes the choke. Well, let's see. I'll grab a hammer and we'll give that hammer and a punch. We'll give that a little tap. We'll see if we can get the floats off of here. Oh, that didn't take much at all. The needle is captured. It's not going to fall off, that's the main thing. I do hear a little bit of rattling on these floats, but they look in really nice shape. Hopefully they don't have any leaks. And if they do, hopefully we can find them and fix them. Then we get our gasket off. Let's get that accelerator pump out of there. There's a cotter key bent over here. Let's just see if this will come out. Not with that screwdriver. How about this one? Nope. That arm does not want to pop out of there. Give that a little tug with a pair of side cutters. Okay. There's our accelerator pump. We could take those screws out, but something tells me the backside's probably swaged over and that would just create a bunch of extra hassle. It's not like we're trying to do a soup to nuts restoration on this. We're just trying to do a rebuild and get it functional. So that, maybe we can squirt a little bit of lube in the ends. That, for the most part, seems to be functioning just fine, so we'll leave that well enough alone. Absolutely, we'll have to clean the rest of the gasket off, and we will have to blow through all of these passages. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Is it supposed to be able to move? Oh yeah. That is going to definitely need some cleanup. That's carb cleaner, not lubrication, but you can see this nice kind of gold colored plating that's on the bottom side of this top horn. And that is a dichromium plating or something, dichromium sulfate or something like that. Anyways, it's a form of plating. What you do is you would zinc plate this assembly, and then you apply that dichromium dye to the zinc plating, and it makes this nice kind of gold color. And if we were doing a restoration, on this carburetor. That I would want to do, clean it down to that point, replate it using electrolysis, and then put the gold colored plating back on it. But really, that's not the type of job that we're working on here. We're just trying to get this car so it'll run again. And we have to set our expectations accordingly. Well, we're going to leave that soak for a while and see if the coil can get in there and help us free any of that stuff up. I suspect we're going to need a little bit of heat on the ends of this to free them up on this and on that jet that I backfilled here. But we'll try penetrant first. I think that's where we're going to leave it for now, though. I kind of got some stuff going on this afternoon, so thanks a lot for stopping by. Greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch the video this far. If you got this far, can you give me one of those thumb up things? Give me a like. And if you want to see more content from Doug's Messy Garage, consider subscribing to the channel. Love to have you come back. Greatly helps my videos get spread around to more viewers, the more subscribers I have. Maybe consider ringing that bell icon so you get a notification when I post new content. And we'll catch you guys in the next mess. Thanks a lot for watching.